Hey traders, welcome to Charts and Coffee, Caffeinate and Dominate. All right, so somebody asked me the other day, they said, Rog, Charts and Coffee, you haven't told us what you've been drinking lately in the coffee. All right, I do have a new concoction. There is a new concoction in the Charts and Coffee. So right now I'm doing a brand called Pure Roast. Kind of neat, the way they supposedly, and they have some neat studies associated with the coffee. I think UC Davis. And it's 7 times the antioxidants, 70% less acid, and it's the way they roast the beans. So I'm rocking the French roast today. And then I've got a company that makes what's known as a Oxford ketone brain fuel. You want to know limitless? You don't have to always get into ketosis, but as close to limitless as I've ever felt. You ever see that movie with Bradley Cooper in it? Love that movie. Would do anything to find some NZT. Throw some ketones in there. It adds some funky bitterness. Boom. That's what I've been drinking the last couple weeks. So that's what's in the mug. It's like the back of Golf. What is it? Golf Digest or Golf Magazine. They have the what's in the bag. Well, that's what's in the mug. As always, gang, great to see everyone. Thanks for joining me for Charts and Coffee every weekday, 9 to 9:20. You know what? Let's just jump into the questions. I think that as we go through the questions, we'll just naturally get into what's going on with what we're dealing with right now, which is what's on the economic calendar. You scroll down to Friday, pretty quiet in terms of our scheduled high impact, high volatility events, aka what I call hot zones. Pretty quiet on the hot zone front. So we're just going to navigate what we have and take it from there. So you know what? Let's jump into the questions here. All right, kicking it off. Hey there, Mark. How are you? Have you traded during a bear market? If so, what bear market trading tips can you share? So when it comes to bear markets, Mark, I'll be totally straight with you. I don't care what a bear market is. It's some completely rando percentage that they talk about on television, that if we're down X percent, we're now in a bear market, right? Now remember, television, Wall Street, all of that is designed to keep you scared, unempowered, therefore fearful, and hopefully they'll be able to manage your money rather than do it yourself. You know what I look for? And I think you know this, my friend. I look for a downtrend. Whether a downtrend's in a bear market or not, I don't give a rip. A downtrend's a downtrend, right? So, of course, you probably traded through downtrends too. Now, in terms of the idea that if we're 20, 25%, whatever the completely random number is from the highs, right? According to Chucklehead Television Land, right? The downtrend is what's useful to us as traders. The downtrend is also useful to us as investors. That's a different conversation. But in yesterday's, I think I did it in the free video, and then also in the premium video, I talked about juxtaposing 3 different time horizons. Day trading, shorten the time frame. Free yourself to the point where you say, look, I'm going to trade these 2 or 3 hours of the day. And that's it. Now, in yesterday's free video, I walked through day trading. So if you haven't checked out the free videos from this week, on Tuesday, I pretty much begged everybody just to accept the downtrend. That was pretty much 11 minutes of me begging everybody to accept the downtrend and short the rips in those double reds. All right. That's what that video is. You can check out that video at the Simpler Trading YouTube channel. Yesterday, a little less beggy and a little bit more about, hey, let's shorten the time frame of this downtrend or bearish territory is uncomfortable. The short squeezes are going to be violent. That's the nature of a downtrend. So what's the tip? Acknowledge where we have outperformance to the downside at the index level, at the sector level, at the individual stock level. If you can tie that technical trend in with a macroeconomic trend, which is what we focus on in the Sector Secrets Mastery, then that's what you'll be able to, I believe, trade with higher probability. There's no certainties, gang, in trading. There's no certainties. But if we can play high probability, if we can say, look, this is heading lower, pretty sure dollars to donuts, we're going to keep heading lower. How can I enter at a level that gives me edge? And whenever Trish, who many of you know, is here in the office and we're doing our weekly powwow about what we need to put together to help you all navigate the market, it helps me too, right? It's even a coaching session for me. And probably the last 6 months has been constantly about, Rag, where's your edge? What's your edge? Where's the edge? What's your edge? And so that's what I wake up, with thinking, all right, where's my edge? In a downtrend, it's a double red. Specifically, where's my edge? At the upper end of that retracement edge, trend edge. Put those together, rinse and repeat. That's my tip, my friend. That's my tip. All right, Julian, on your breach retreat strategy, which, by the way, for everybody, it's a day trading strategy. Why is the breach important? The breach, which is, okay, so what's a breach? During the first 30 minutes after the bell, some people say 20, I've always used 30. From 9:30 to 10 a.m. Eastern is known as the opening range or clearing range. And so that's the clearing period and the clearing range. The period is the time allotment. The range is the high to low. So when we have a breach of that range, for me, Julian, it's just the market tipping its hand, telling me that there's a little bit more probability of movement in that direction. Now, that's not the only thing, right? If you took my day trading class, anyone here took my day trading class in 2020, trading a gonzo uptrend was a very same tools, same approach, but it was a different application of the strategies and tactics because the markets were behaving differently. 2021, yet again, we same strategies, if you will, but what are we doing to determine the directional bias? And then in 2022, and by the way, I mean, it's no secret, or maybe for some of you don't know, June 26, June 26. So really about a month from today, we've got our it's a 25, sorry, it's going to be whatever that fourth Saturday is. I think it's June 25. I have my annual, let's get ready for summer, crazy chop day trading class. We need to start selling tour t-shirts for this thing. We're right back to the annual day trading class. And again, each one of them is different because the markets are different. And it's been a lot of volatility this year. So I've not been doing as much breach retreat. It's still there, but I've been prioritizing different lines in the sand about regarding where we are in the market. So when Trish puts this class together, right, she watches all my day trades, good, bad, and ugly. And then she says, okay, Rob, this is what you've been saying. This is what's been working. This is what we're going to make the class all about so we can make this as impactful for everybody taking this now. So breach retreat, my friend, not the number one thing. It's probably third in terms of the order in which I'll prioritize. And the way that we will validate whether or not we even want to take that breach retreat in 2022 with the chop that we're seeing, with the volatility we're seeing, is yet again different. So June 25, which means we're going to have webinars. We're going to do something a little bit different with this particular class lead up. I'm really excited to let you all know we're going to do something really pretty different. Of course, we're going to have a webinar. So if you say, Rog, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, we'll definitely be doing that. And then we're going to follow that webinar up with something pretty different. I think you guys are going to love it, especially if you're charts and coffee fans. It's going to be right up your alley. So I can't wait to tell you all. Just need to get the stamp of approval. And as soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. But so breach retreat, put on the back burner. As far as a momentum indicator, Julian, let's not think about momentum in the morning, especially the first 30 minutes, unless there's a gap. So my favorite momentum setup are gap fades. And we have an indicator that we give to members in I think all the rooms actually, where I use a 5-minute high-low range. And that's probably my favorite momentum when we have a gap, because the likelihood of follow through is so much better in that situation. Hope that helps. And like I said, yesterday's free video, I did a deep dive, 11 minutes. Sorry, it was kind of long, but it walks through what we were looking at yesterday. So you can see, okay, this is what you're doing now. I walked through it in yesterday's video. So thank you for the question. And the clearing range tool, I believe, is in the futures room and in the Sector Secrets Mastery. So if you're either one of those, you already have access to the tool. Lorna Bot has actually tweaked it, and we have some new updates coming to it for this upcoming class. We have a new version of that to deal with what we're seeing, but we can talk about that later. All right, let's move on to the next question. Thank you, Julian. Could the China unlockdown spark a rally? It sure could. Michael, I sure hope it does. You know why? Rallies in downtrends are the gift that keep on giving until the trend is over. And so I hope so, because I will be shorting into it. Alex, good morning. No question. Just looking forward to hearing your okay in this chop fest. So Alex, and I appreciate, you're too kind, Alex. I don't know if my voice is as soothing. I'm talking probably dozens of hours on the mic. It's not. I want to wake up sounding like Kathleen Turner. That'll be the day. But thank you. One of the things we want to tackle, I know you're being kind of funny with the chop fest, but we do have trends. There are some gorgeous trends in this market. And we sent out a few alerts around RBOB gasoline, which is already a little bit up this morning. We sent out one for corn, which we're still building that trade. Bean oil, I've been wanting to get, this is already moving in our favor. So there are some gorgeous trends still in this market. Downtrends, we love them. Uptrends, we love a little bit more. Yes, there's some favoritism, but there's some gorgeous trends in this market as well. All right. Thanks, Alex. Danny, good morning. First of all, thanks for making yourself. Danny, it's my pleasure. And frankly, it's my job. I'm an F1 fan. And I was thinking to myself, athletes, F1, a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine is a professional, not professional, Olympic athlete. And I think to myself, this is what they do. And they do it with joy. They do it happily. Yes, it's tough, right? They got to train, eat right. These F1 kids, when they're not racing, risking their lives, they're dealing with their driver engineers. They're dealing with sponsors. It's a lifestyle. And I kind of look at trading as this wonderful lifestyle that I am so lucky to participate in. Years ago, a friend of mine, she's a fitness bodybuilder. She's won more, I think, fitness Olympias than anybody back then. And she was saying, Rob, this is what I do. This is what I do all the time. Everything I do is formed around being the very best athlete that I'm capable of being. So yeah, I'm happy to, because Danny, even when I'm talking to you all, I'm talking to me. I got to remind my stubborn head too of a lot of these things. There's opportunity out there, shorten the time frame. So I appreciate that. It's my pleasure and my job. Second, what are my thoughts on where we're at with FXE, WMB, and IEF? If we look at what we see on, I see on the 6E, which isn't going to map to the FXE, because remember, FXE is not going to open until 9:30. 6E Euro US, we can see what's happening. We're going to be right on track with FXE. So says the 6E Euro FX futures this morning. WMB. If we look at WMB, and this is a corner of the market that's in that uptrend, right? We've already scaled out. We hit the first target, and now we're at a break-even stop. So the question about WMB is not whether or not it's going to be a winner. It's a winner, right? Now it's, do I want to get back in? And then you might recall, we've had some very quick round trip winners in CTRA. Got in, got out, break even. Got in, got out, so maybe break even. So I'm going to look at WMB the same way that I'm looking at CTRA, with the possibility that we might just get in again. But it's already a winner. Protect the capital by putting your stop, basically limiting your loss, unrealized loss, to unrealized profit. That's what that scale out of half the position, move to break even. That is such an old school 80s, 90s approach. It's what I've done for my entire 30 plus years. It just works, and it avoids us letting a winner turn into a loser, which is something we never want to do. All right, IEF. I like this setup a lot. I'm going to stick with it. And here's why, Danny. We like the trend, technically. We like the macroeconomic trend. This is one of those situations where we're dealing with, we're going to deal with a lot of volatility around rollover. Bonds are probably some of the more volatile markets around rollover as we approach first notice date for the contract. So in that regard, I'll stick with this. If there's no reason to really not stick with it, we haven't even built our full position yet. So thanks for the question. I appreciate it. So I'm sticking with all of them, and for those different reasons. You missed the Anderson meeting. Watch the replay. Absolutely. I'll tell you what. One of the things I love about treating my trading as a business is it's literally a business. For those of you that are wondering, what does that mean? Rob, is that how you structure your trading life? Absolutely. So check out what Toby had to say. I believe it's at simplertrading.com/save-replay. And if you registered for the webinar, the replay link should be sent to you shortly at some point today. And it's not about trading per se, although he did share a cool way. If you are willing to trade both options and shares, he did jump into this for a few minutes because I asked him, we were talking before the webinar. I said, hey, for traders who are comfortable with both the shares and playing options, it's not going to work for everybody. But if you've got both, it's one of the ways that he works around the wash sale rule. I think a lot of you will dig that a lot. Definitely that alone is probably worth the time in the webinar. But Toby always blows my mind. I watch every single one of them, and I've been with Anderson for about 20 years now. So really, really great stuff from Toby as always. All right. Good morning, Dean. Thoughts on SLX Multi Chart? Sure. I love that y'all are looking at the multis. This is the absolute best way. Look, when we talk about the markets, and this is common jargon, we're talking about relative outperformance, leaders, laggards. It's all about watch list building. And when we are doing that, I have a very old school way of comparing stock to stock to stock within a group that's already, we know, going to be moving very similarly to each other. ETFs do that for us. Indices do that for us. We don't need to curate our own little groups of stocks. In fact, we actually, in my opinion, shouldn't. We should let the groups via the ETFs. And that's one of the secrets, not so secrets to sector secrets mastery. Use the ETFs, focus on the volume, and then focus on the cohesion of these stocks within a group. So Dean, SLX, for those of you who don't know what SLX is it's steel ETF. Downtrend on the tide, on the SLX itself. Rio, Valley. I mean, look at this. There's plenty to choose from. And at a glance, for those of you that are proficient in multi-charting, there's 6 names that are popping up. Which 6 are they? Where's my drawing tool? Y'all are going to love this. There's just simply no better way to do relative performance scanning than this process that I'm walking you through right now. And this layout is a flexible grid on Thinkorswim. You can structure this however you want. Some people look at this and say, Rog, the top of my head just blew off. This is way too much. So here's what's cool. If you're in the membership, you can download my TOPS 3-panel layout. You'll import automatically with that shared item and toss, grab, wave, and my trade flags. That alone is the building blocks, all the building blocks that you need to put this multi-chart together. Of course, I've got some other tools running, but you don't need all that. You put those 3 tools on a chart, lay it out in whatever flexi grid visually is comfortable for you. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, of course, Yahtzee, right? The tide is also. That's the kind of structure we want. And that's where I'd say, Dean, if there's liquidity on the SLX side, because sometimes these ETFs are not as liquid as we'd like when we look at the option chain. Of course, you can short the underlying stock. Some traders trade the stock, some traders trade the ETF option, or the ETF versus the ETF option. However you want to go about it. I would say at this point, yeah, SLX would be great, Dean, if we get the setup. If not, keep a really close eye on Rio and Valley, because those two are going to act as the best proxy for SLX because they're so heavily weighted, right? So I'd keep an eye on those two. What do I think of VZ put? Hang on. VZ, Verizon, which, by the way, all my cards on the table, we're in. VZ, 50 put 19 August. So let me tell you what we did. But let me also mention we've already scaled out once on this. So we set this one up on May 18. We ended up hitting the first target on May 19. So at a break even, I'll be open to getting in again. So yesterday we paid ourselves. Today, yeah, I might be open to doing it again. I might be open to doing it again. So the first time around, we did the 50 puts, but I actually went with July. Expiry. So where the trigger is going to be this time? 49.80 moderate. Yeah, moderate for 49.80 is fine. Remember, you might have an aggro opportunity, Andrea, as well. So those of you that are in the sector, we might refire this thing. We might just recalibrate the levels for the entries and refire this one. That could be definitely a possibility. Martha, good morning. When day trading and picking options, how do I determine which option to pick? Martha, I'm usually at the money. How far out of the money? Usually not out of the money. No, in the money. I don't want to be too far in the money either. Liquidity will dictate oftentimes which strike you're going to go with, but I try to focus on at or slightly in. Okay, so that's usually what I focus on. And when we're day trading, remember, in many instances, I shouldn't say many, that's a little too much, but in some instances, we have Monday, Wednesday, Friday expiry, which keeps that opportunity for a zero dated option a possibility. If not, it's Friday. And yeah, they can be pricey sometimes, but in my mind, just keep scanning till you find something that's scalable and affordable. But most of the time, I'm just gonna be day trading the indices or the ETF alternative of the indices. Sometimes gold and crude and bonds, maybe some currencies, but most of the time, a vast majority of the time, it's going to be the indices. All right. Okay, moving on. Short of the Qs yesterday. Hey there, Jordan. Thought it would hold through today, take profits. Expiration is Monday. Is it going to hold or drop? Jordan, I'll be frank with you. In that short a time, I've got no idea. I would say the probability is to see continuation. I don't have a lot of information. And I'm not going to get into prediction, right? Process over prediction. So do I know if it's going to drop? I really don't, my friend. All I know is that at least if nothing else, you are on the side of the dominant psychology. All right. That's what I would absolutely focus on. Okay. All right, gang. So as always, somebody asked me how to pronounce my name. All right. We're going to wrap it up with that. How do you pronounce your name? Well, I appreciate y'all asking, Anthony, Brett. My mother named me Raghee, right? But she's from Calcutta and she has Indian pronunciation. I do not. I was born in Virginia. So Raghee turned into Raghee. Raghee means queen of queens. Funny how that little bit of emphasis makes a difference. So Raghee means queen of queens. Raghee means bad tempered. So you know what an uphill battle my husband has. So it's Raghee. That's fine. I've been called worse, but it's really Raghee. So hey, it doesn't matter as long as you spell it right. And even if you don't, I know you're talking to me. Hence, I just go by RH because oh my gosh, it's the G before the H, and how many E's are there? So that's why I just put RH in the chat rooms. All right, gang. Have a great one. As always, thanks for joining me for Charts and Coffee. We are here every weekday, Monday through Friday, right? 9 to 9:20. I'll see you all for our Sunday Notes live show, which eventually I will have a better name for. I will send out the weekly notes to members So if you're in the options room, futures room, or my sector secrets mastery, we'll push those notes through the alerts on Sunday evening. We'll go live with the show at 6 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So I'll see you all for that. And again, thank you as always for your time. Be aware of the volatility today. Be aware we've got some expiries to deal with. And I will see you all hopefully on Sunday. Thank you for smashing that like button. Thank you for being here for the show. Thank you for your questions. Leave your comments and feedback and questions below. And I'll see you in the next update. All right. I'll see you on next show. Be good to each other.